I would like to introduce to you Dr. Torsunov. He is a candidate of medical sciences and senior professor at our university. He develops methods. He is a famous author and doctor. He heals human lives and souls. And today he is going to talk about methods of treatment according to Vedic knowledge of the subtle and gross body. Please welcome. I'm also happy to see you all. According to the Vedic knowledge, before speaking, one must connect to the audience. We must unite our hearts, because knowledge can only go to open hearts. The Eastern knowledge is not passed on just by logic and thinking, but also by deeper understanding of life. I think it is very symbolic that this lecture takes place at a medical academy, because 10 years ago, to teach Vedic knowledge in medical academies was impossible in Russia. Although Ayurveda is taught in India as classical medicine, people have diplomas in Ayurvedic knowledge. There is science, and people get degrees in this science. But Ayurveda is not acknowledged in the world as some other practices. My humble attempt to introduce Vedic understanding of treatment is based on Vedic understanding of the body and what we are in general. And according to this understanding and our structure, the Eastern medicine treats people. I would like to tell you a little about myself. I study Ayurveda, but I am not a classic doctor in Ayurvedic methods, because I endeavor to study a subtle body. The subtle body is an Ayurvedic term. Ayurveda, as all the Vedic knowledge, knows what a subtle structure of a human body is. 15 years ago, I went deeper into studying the subtle body and its treatment, and now there are a few methods to spread and introduce into the modern medicine. These are crystal therapy and bark treatment. There are certain methods of herbs treatment. It's applying herbs to your skin. I also spread the Vedic knowledge in Russia very seriously. I think that I've achieved quite a success in my lectures, because presently in my social network ВКонтакте group there are 160,000 people. These are people from all over the world who speak Russian. I read my lectures in Russian. On average, our website has 5,000 visitors a day. We also have Ayurveda radio with a similar amount of visitors. We have Благость, Goodness Festival, 2 times a year. There also are a lot of books that are published by Amrita Rus Publishing House, and one issue is usually 10 to 20,000 books. I have a health center in Krasnodar Krai. We have 2 licenses in therapy and reflexology. We introduce ancient crystal therapy into treatment. This method is not studied well by the modern medicine. I'm also going to tell you about it. This is an introductory lecture now, and I would like to give you the plan of all the lectures I will be giving here. Please write it down in short, because what I'm going to tell does not correspond to what is written. There are some changes, the venue is changed, and as it is a medical academy, I decided to make a different plan. The first lecture is Eastern Methods Treatment according to Vedic knowledge of subtle and gross human body. This is the lecture we are having today. Tomorrow, we're going to speak about treating the gross body by Ayurveda, Panchakarma, fasting, and other methods of cleansing your body. On November 4th, the lecture will be treating with prana, hatha yoga, pranayama, marma therapy, acupuncture, physical exercises, and climate treatment. I will be telling about these methods from the point of view of treating your subtle body, prana treatment. On November the 5th, the topic is treatment of mind. I will tell about bark treatment, crystal therapy, and different meditations, life in goodness, and character effect on health. And the last lecture is treatment of intelligence. I will tell you about my doctoral thesis, positive motivation in forming healthy lifestyle. And I will tell you about spiritual practice and working on yourself. The Vedas are an ancient knowledge over 5,000 years old. In my teaching, I base on Srimad Bhagavatam, that is an ancient scripture, also called Bhagavata Purana. It describes mostly spiritual life and many things connected to subtle and gross structure of a human body and of the universe. That is a fundamental book that contains 18,000 verses in Sanskrit. And also there is many more literature. It was written in the past 5,000 years. This knowledge is very serious, and human mind or psyche is presented very peculiarly there. Our mind has its structure, and our psychical functions work according to certain laws. There are laws of karma, of morality, and so on. There are many more laws. For example, Pinda Brahmanda Nyaya. It states that Pinda is a point, Brahmanda is universe. This law says that a human body is like the universe. By meditating on a human body, you can know the structure of the universe. The Vedas is an ancient knowledge that presents structure of a human body, human psyche. It says that we are a soul, that we are eternal by nature. We live eternally, not for one life only. The Vedas teach a deeper view of the world. Practices like Hatha Yoga and Pranayama and Raja Yoga allow to study subtle structure of a human body and to see it, to feel a person's mind. And my treatment is based on this knowledge. According to this ancient knowledge that also includes medicine, Ayurveda, or science of life, in this ancient science there is knowledge about space and planets' movement. For example, astrological works of ancient scientists, they describe the solar system just like the modern scientists. The distance to different planets is the same, but in the ancient knowledge our galaxy is described also, and it says that there are 14 galaxies in our universe. They are called planet systems, not galaxies. There is the size of our universe and what happens beyond it. You may wonder how it is possible to know such things, but the Vedas say that there are two ways to study this world. The first one is ascending, which we mostly use. The modern science uses ascending method based on experiments and experimental knowledge of this world. Based on personal experience, we build the modern science, but the Vedas state that science can also be built by descending method. There are enlightened personalities who are self-realized, and they can witness what happens beyond our seeing of the world. All these statements of enlightened people are written down in scriptures, and you can test it all in your life. In the ancient culture it is also science, but now such views, such statements from above, like the Bible and the Vedas, Torah, Quran, are not considered scientific. So now this lecture will be based on the views that are not considered scientific in the modern world. Nevertheless, I teach based on this knowledge because my experience, my medical practice, and experience of other people who study the Vedic knowledge shows that it all works. Based on the Vedic knowledge, I presented my doctoral thesis. I read lectures on healthy lifestyle and personal development, on family relationships, overcoming stress, and so on. And these lectures gave serious results and changed people's lives. The statistics is very good. For example, many people who listen to my lectures quit drinking and smoking. 65% of people improved family relationships, 47% improved their ability to work, their work efficiency became better, quality of life is improved. This knowledge works. and I teach it. Besides that, we see that nowadays Eastern methods are used actively in life and treatment in the modern society. We see that many people search for alternative methods of treatment, and unfortunately those alternative methods are often presented as fake, and the problem is that unprofessional people perform this treatment. People do not have serious training, they do not know how to work with patients from the point of view of Eastern or ancient Russian practices like herbal treatment, herbal medicine. There are very few specialists who can do it right, but those methods deserve good studying. But we rarely have means to study it well. If a modern doctor starts to study Eastern methods, it is not accepted as scientific and correct. Sometimes people see it as unscientific and wrong. For example, some 50 years ago, for doing yoga in Russia, a person could be killed, executed. And now yoga is taught in the universities. We see that gradually acupuncture becomes scientific. People present doctoral theses on acupuncture. When I presented my thesis, a woman presented sutyok therapy. It is a new method that came from Chinese medicine. We see that Eastern methods come into our life from the point of view of the modern science. It is almost impossible to describe how needles poked into our body work, but it is based on experience. We see that this treatment works, and when the modern science sees that it works, it accepts it. And so these Eastern methods are developed with practical experience. On my website, torsunov.ru, in Health Center section, there are reviews from our patients. They tell about their results from bark treatment, crystal therapy. People are writing to us actively and we publish the results. You can even call these people to make sure it's true. According to the Vedic concept, I'm going to tell you a lot of new terms. Please write it down if you're interested. Here is our structure. We have a gross body that is studied at medical university, our anatomy. Our gross body includes our anatomical structure, what we see in medical books. Then there is a prana body. Prana is life energy. Prana is a Sanskrit word. Our prana body, it also has its structure, but you are not going to see it in our Western books. There are pranic channels and different sources of Chinese, Indian, and Tibetan medicine. You can find structure of our subtle body. Often there are different names, some descriptions differ. This structure is very sophisticated. I will try to bring it all together, and maybe it will give you understanding of what different Eastern methods of treatment do to our body. The next is the subtle body of our mind, or manas. Manas is mind. In general, the subtle body in Sanskrit is linga, meaning subtle, and sharira, body. There is also sthula sharira, which is gross body. In general, there are three bodies: linga sharira, subtle body, sthula sharira, gross body, and atma, the soul or spiritual body. So there is a subtle body of mind, then subtle body of intelligence, which is also a part of our subtle body. Intelligence is Buddha. And then there is a spiritual body. We have 5 bodies. I'm not going to tell about gross body. My anatomy grades were not so high. I guess you know it all better than me. So the subtle body of prana. There is a text, Sushruta Samhita. It tells that there are channels, subtle psychical channels, invisible. They are in our subtle body. They are called nadi. Nadi literally means flow or movement. These channels firstly connect a person with the universe. These flows of psychical energy constantly move in our body according to the nature. We see that if there is not enough nature in our life, it is harder to live. For example, you know that people feel differently inside an apartment, on a high story, in the wood or in the mountains, or when bathing in a river. You see that we are more comfortable in the wood. We lack fresh air. We call it oxygen, chemistry. But you can have good oxygen supply in your apartment. For example, your house may be in the woods, and you can open the window and get the flow, but still you will feel better outside in the wood, because we are surrounded with earth and trees, natural objects that were not created by a human being. Everything created by man cannot fulfill our desire to be healthy. We know that the healthiest people do not live in the cities, they live in natural environment. They make natural houses made of wood or stone, and it is easier to live and breathe in houses like that. That means connection to prana. That is not just air or oxygen. That is prana, life force, psychical energy. There are nadis, prana channels. They provide circulation inside our subtle body, but the subtle body is connected to the gross body, and this connection is provided by channels that are called shrotas. Shrotas cover all organs and systems in our body. For example, there is Annavaha Shrota. Anna means food. This channel starts at our mouth and it goes with all our gastrointestinal tract, all the organs in it. And there are very many channels like this. There are whole atlases of anatomy of subtle channels that cover all organs in our body. And according to the Vedic knowledge, these shraddhas are a blueprint of our body. The scientists still do not know how esophagus that starts to form in 3 different places in a baby then gets perfectly connected without a fail. For example, if we start to build this house in different places with no blueprint, no master plan, we are not going to make it whole. And our body is a very sophisticated structure that is connected in 3D. It is not like 2 lines that you connect on a piece of paper. For example, if you start an underground tunnel, you cannot connect it unless you have some plan. And similarly, in our body, how this tube starts to form and then is connected into a functioning body. And the ancient scientists explained that there is a blueprint, and cell's growth is determined by the blueprint. It exists before our gross body appears. According to ancient scientists, there is no death. A subtle human body first enters a sperm cell, and then, along with it enters ovum. A human being lives in a subtle body after leaving the gross body. So there is no death in ancient philosophy. A person does not die. He leaves his body, and he stays in his subtle body. If you read works of Dr. Moody, he was a surgeon and he worked with margin conditions, clinical death. He studied surgery rooms, he gauged different indicators, he studied what different doctors said when a person's heart stopped. He studied it carefully. Some patients described at the time of their clinical death, when they flatlined, they actually could neither breathe or live, but these patients described what exactly happened in the room after they came back into their body. They described what the surgery room looked from above and what was said. It is documentally proven that patient contacted no one before giving his statement. It cannot be explained from the point of view of modern science, because these people were not supposed to remember or see anything. But they knew what happened, and so, based on these experiments, the scientists established that something is separated from our body at the time of death, and it lives on even when our body lives no longer. The Vedic knowledge, just like Chinese medicine and Tibetan medicine, and any other knowledge based on scriptures, and medicine is never on its own, it is always based on some philosophy. For example, the modern medicine is based on atheism. There is always some basis philosophical. And so, treatment that is not based on modern philosophy is criticized. If a person uses some unknown methods, and modern philosophy says there is no subtle body, so treating subtle body is chastised and it is punishable. These scientific views are based on philosophy. And the Vedic philosophy says that there is a subtle body of prana, there are nadis, the flows of energy, and there are shrotas that connect the subtle body to the gross body. Just like there are highways in the cities, in our body there are energies that circulate inside certain spaces connected to different tissues of our body. According to the Vedas, there are 7 spaces like that. One space provides energy for our skin and mucous membrane. If we take our body, mucous membrane is on the inside, it is the inner petal, and there is skin, the outer petal. That also includes lymphatic vessels, some small vessels. That is all under supervision of certain energy structure that is called in Sanskrit Rasa Dhatu. That is the outer layer, energetic layer of our body. You may say that you do not believe it. No problem, I can prove it to you. It exists. For example, in Rasa Dhatu, this energetic layer, there can be a blockage of energy flow. And there are 2 petals in Rasa Dhatu. The inner petal gives mucous membrane, and the outer is skin. For example, if the outer petal from your chest to crown, there is energy disruption, a person has certain skin disease. I diagnose these problems and I tell a person where he has chronic diseases. Some people do not know it. I diagnose them and I see chronic diseases, and he agrees with me. He has some problems, but he may have not paid attention to it. By diagnosing subtle body, you can find chronic diseases in your gross body. According to this ancient concept, the subtle body controls the gross body, and not the other way around. In the medical university, I asked stupid questions, and I was thought a little crazy. I asked my professor, what gives strength, what makes our blood flow, circulate? And he said that was heart. And what makes heart work? The nervous system. And what makes nervous system work? Where does it get its energy? And the professor couldn't answer me. He told that I wanted to know too much. He basically chastised me for these questions. But I'm not guilty. My brain works like that. I studied on and I found the answer in the Vedas. Prana controls the nervous system. Prana is the energy that makes our nervous system live. When a person is weak, they normally think there is not enough vitamins and they eat pills. But weakness means there is not enough prana. You just need to breathe, because when you breathe, you receive oxygen on the one side and also prana. Oxygen is one thing, but when you breathe in, your psychic centers that are called chakras receive psychic energy that is called prana. Breathing regulates oxygen level, but also prana level in your body. It goes in your body and out when inhaling and exhaling. That is why it is so great to breathe in the mountains. There's a lot of prana there, but little oxygen. I appeal to you to study these matters. For example, food products, watermelon. It's almost water, but no one wants to drink watermelon juice. Everyone cuts watermelon and eats it, because prana is there in firm products, and the firmer the product, the more there is prana. A good watermelon allows a person to work hard, but if the fruit is soft, there is no working capacity. The same with apples. A fresh apple gives you strength, and dried apple is not so good. Do you see what I'm saying? This is prana. What prana is? You can create artificial climate in your room and get fresh air, but you are not getting prana. When you go into the wood, there is prana, psychical energy. I am not going to go deeper into the prana subtle body because we have no time for it. The subtle body that gives us energy to live is the prana subtle body. It is the most gross of subtle bodies. The Vedas describe that the energy that flows inside the prana subtle body is called pranamaya. It is the energy of consciousness. Consciousness is also energy, and when it moves, it is pranamaya. When the person pays much attention to necessity to increase prana in his body, then his ability to move this energy is magnified many times. It depends on our desire. People often run or do hatha yoga, or they do pranayama, breathing exercises, or tzigun, Ushu. These practices increase prana in your body, and when there is much, a person can really affect health of other people. By the movement of his hands, he can make more prana in someone else, because prana is not only transmitted from trees and mountains and grass, sun and water. Prana goes from person to person also. Well, okay. Now, we're going to discuss a few important things you need to know about prana nadis, these channels. Speaking about nadis, psychical channels, there is the major, most important channel that sustains all prana inside our body. This channel works inside our prana body and is called Sushumna Nadi. Sushumna is central, the main channel. It is also called astral spinal cord. It goes along our spine. Sushumna Nadi gives a person ability to live. That is the main channel where life energy flows. If this flow is disrupted, the person can live no longer. There where our coccyx is, there is a psychical center called Kundalini, where the energy of Sushumna Nadi is accumulated. Basically, this channel symbolizes our desire to live. Depending on how badly a person wants to live, how not depressed he is, how he has faith in his life and aim, this channel functions. Depending on activity of this channel, the person has opportunity to act and to be healthy. Acting in different areas and being healthy. It all depends on our desire to live. So if a person has no aim in life, for example, his family life is bad, or he did not get a doctorate degree, he does not want to live, and this desire is primary in life, and according to it, the soul may no longer provide energy into Sushumna Nadi. The person becomes weak, he is depressed, but it also means destruction of health, because your organs get energy neither in sufficient amount. And in ancient culture, this undesire to live and failure was chastised. It does not help at all, not from the point of view of health or fate. You must change your view of life. You must understand what you live for, and maybe doctoral thesis is not the most important thing. You must understand these things. I went a little deeper now. Around Sushumna there are two channels. One is on the left. We know that there are ganglia on the sides that are called, they have their function, but on the subtle level, the spine marrow on the subtle level is Sushumna Nadi, and these ganglia are Ida and Pingala Nadis. They are very important in Eastern medicine because Ida Nadi is the energy flow of a female beginning. According to the Eastern knowledge, this channel is 3 times stronger in women than in men. Ida Nadi goes along the spinal cord on the left side, and it is also an important channel. And on the right side, also along the spinal cord, on the subtle level, you cannot see it with your eyes, there is Pingala Nadi. It is 3 times stronger in men. So the left side of the body is female in both men and women, and the right side is male. And they have different functions. For example, the left side of the body receives energy and the right side gives energy. Energy goes into your left hand and leaves out of your right hand. The same with legs. Prana moves in your body crisscross. It enters your left leg and leaves from your right arm, and it enters your left arm and leaves through your right leg. There are also solar and lunar energies. Lunar energy is cold. When cold energy enters your left leg, it leaves the right arm, and at the same time, hot energy, solar, enters your left arm. These flows switch 4 times a day. At the moment when the sun is in zenith, for example, here in Chelyabinsk, the zenith of sun is later than 1 p.m. It is not at 12 p.m. It's at 20 to 2 p.m. And the energy flow changes very fast at this moment. We tested it when doing gem treatment. If you put gems on this hot solar flow of energy, it overloads the person. But if you put a gem on the side where there is cool lunar energy, the gems treat a person. And you must change sides. You must put your gems from left to right and from right to left every 6 hours. It works very well. There is no doubt it works like that. All the patients that come to us see the effects. If we do something wrong, for example, we were mistaken about the energy flow because it is different in all people. For example, my left arm is active from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. If I put my gems instead of my arm on my leg, I will feel bad. From the prana point of view, it is not like I will have hemorrhoids or my heart will start to race. I will feel weak, and it indicates prana circulation problems. So you can affect the subtle prana body. There are ways. For example, crystal therapy. This is classics, gems. We move to methods of influencing the subtle body. But before that, I would also like to intrigue you. The knowledge of Ida and Pingala nadis also tells where men and women should invest their energy in, mostly in their life. Because Ida Nadi is connected to personal relationships of a person. It is connected to love, family relations, understanding of the inner world of a person, its view of yourself, and these matters are more important to women. It is 3 times stronger. For example, if a woman does not pay 3 times more attention to her family, relatives, personal life, then she loses herself as a personality. It is hard for her to live. She is always tired. If a woman works too much in society, her psychic energy goes from Ida Nadi to Pingala Nadi, and the body is exhausted. If a woman does not devote much time to personal life, it is hard for her to live. She loses her hormonal functions, she has no opportunity to create family, to give birth. It does not mean that all women should stay at home. That means that at work a woman must also think much about family, and she should build good relationships at work, and not just this, that, and goodbye. A woman must be a woman, kind, gentle relationships. Then she feels fine. Now, on the other side, men have 3 times more energy on the right side, Pingala Nadi. That means social life. First comes job, and then women. A man must be developed as a personality in society very seriously. Then he is healthy and happy. Family life does not come first for a man. His psyche is designed differently. A man must be developed as a personality in society to be healthy and happy. I read lectures on these topics. In Chelyabinsk there is also going to be a lecture on these deeper matters. It is interesting that there are different practices that give health to a person. When speaking about prana diseases, for example, you can describe all their symptoms like this. When prana flow is disrupted, a person experiences weakness, no willpower, no appetite, difficulty breathing, low blood pressure. He has fever from too much sun, so he cannot take the sunlight. He is prone to feeling cold, he has vertigo, low tonus of organs. These things are caused by lack of prana. What happens when there is too much prana? There are high blood pressure, the blood vessels are too tense, muscles are tense, there may be cramps, higher body temperature, any hyperfunction of inner organs. That means too much prana or high acidity. But when a person is fresh, he is able to work, he is energetic. That means there is much good prana in his body, not the bad ones that causes disorders, but good. It all depends on how the person lives. If he is in harmony with himself and the world, he is good. To come into harmony, there are different practices like pranayama. There are rules of pranayama. Prana is prana and yama is exercise. A person must control inhale and exhale. When they are in harmony, there is healthy prana coming into the body and going out. The person feels healthy, and breath holding is also used. The Vedas say that the center of our living force is in our heart, and from there prana is distributed all over the body. Prana distribution starts from the heart, and in the moment of death, when the subtle body falls, it also goes into the air of heart, because there our soul is. Soul is me. We say, my soul, but actually you are the soul. I'm going to tell you a bit more about prana. Prana is the energy that exists outside our body also. But when it enters our body, there are 4 flows of energy. The first one, the outer one, prana immediately enters Sushumna, the deepest part of our body.
Я забыл вам сказать, перечислить все 7 оболочек.
I forgot to name all shells of our subtle body, but I will do it on the next lecture when we will talk about it. I only named Rasa Dhatu, and we will perform an experiment. I will test a person from the audience, and I will tell him where his chronic diseases are, and we will see how it works. Okay? We will do it later. I just advertise my lectures for more people to come. 700 people are coming to my other lecture in Chelyabinsk. So, there are 5 types of prana. The first one is the energy that appears because we want to live actively. We have enthusiasm, and it creates the ascending energy flow called udana. We breathe in, prana enters our body. This is the first type. And there is a second type that gets stronger when we have faith, we want to work, we are full of enthusiasm, we want to act in this world. That is udana. It goes up and it makes our brain function. We think with this flow, we make decisions. It is also connected to our immunity. So, a passive person has low immunity. There is no force to live. Depressed people have low immunity. Depression is udana moving badly. Depression is when you are sad, and these people feel bad because they are not successful in life. Udana does not flow, and the person suffers. The next type appears when we get relaxed, we want to have rest. After we ate, when we go to sleep, apana starts to function. It activates. It's just like this town name. People have rest, and there is apana movement. Sleeping, eating. Apana also controls childbirth in women, and it is a woman's flow. Udana is a male flow and apana is female. Women have stronger energy in the lower part of their torso, and they have ability to carry children. Men have more force in their upper body. Apana controls kidneys, urogenital system. The energy flows down for these organs to work. Also, apana gives self-preservation. Udana gives bravery, decisiveness, ability to sacrifice his life. But when there is apana, it is self-preservation. Women are more prone to preserve their life. They have more protective abilities, and men have more udana. What flow is more important? Both are. If a person only has udana, he gets constipated. That means too much work, too little rest. The energy does not go down. So laxative is what makes your energy flow down. And after constipation there comes a relief. I'm going to make jokes. This is Vedic culture, and lectures must be exciting, otherwise people start to sleep. Udana is also humor. it makes energy goes up.
Помогает усваивать материал.
Jokes help you master the material.
Итак, следующий поток энергии — это энергия, идущая внутрь.
Is the energy that goes inside.
Пространство в виде шара, да?
If you take a sphere, what directions are there? Up, down, inside and out. There are only 4. And this is the way our body works. Everything is perfect in it. All is designed correctly. The energy that goes inside is accumulated. And it is needed for sustaining metabolism in the body. This energy accumulated inside is inside your cells. It allows your digestion to function. It gives cellular metabolism. It gives assimilation and absorption. But after that, an energy to distribute it is required. And there is energy that goes outside. Samana goes inside and Vyana goes outside. We started these 4 energies. The Vyana goes outside. It is needed to move, to live. It sustains your body temperature, your muscles work. It gives blood circulation, and we notice that when a person works on his muscles, also has better blood flow, better contact with climate, he does not get overheated or too cold. That's the same energy. When Vyana is strong and it works well, such person has no colds. He is very strong, his circulation is great, his muscles are strong. So you must do exercises, you must be stronger, you must train your Vyana. So these were 5 types of energy. The first one was prana, and then udana, apana, samana, and vyana. Pranayama, breathing exercises. That is breathing in different ways. A person closes nostrils one by one. He moves his arms up and down. When arms go up, it is udana. Down, it is apana. When the right nostril is closed, Ida Nadi functions, left nostril is closed, Pingala Nadi works, so the energy flows on the right. Nostrils are connected to these channels, to nadis. If a person works too much and she is constantly exhausted, she has no strength to associate in her family, she comes home and she tells her husband, "Leave me alone." That means there is not enough Ida Nadi, and she should close her right nostril and breathe with the left, and her female energy goes up. And now I can speak to you after pranayama. We can see that psychical functions are closely connected to energy flows in our body. Qigong does the same thing. I think that Qigong masters can tell you better about it. And also there is Hatha Yoga. That is an interesting practice controlling prana. When a person freezes in some position and at the same time he breathes in a certain way calmly, this breathing is like the breathing over fetus in the womb. In that time, the body gets more relaxed, and the person can bend further. And in time he can do things he cannot normally do. When bending, there are certain psychical experience, because mental relaxation is also required along with physical relaxation. Hatha yoga is psychical activity. If the person does not meditate properly, all these blocks in our muscles are connected to wrong prana movement in our body. And when you get relaxed in Hatha yoga, you bend forward or backwards. Prana movement is improved. There is psychical relaxation. The breathing is normalized and muscles are relaxed. That means that prana channels are unclogged with static exercises. And it is also connected to chronic diseases. When a person freezes in some pose, chronic diseases are healed. Static exercises heal chronic diseases, and dynamics give tonus to your body. You have ability to work then. If it is hard for you to work, you must move. That is your pranayama. And if a person has bad health, he must have static exercises. Unless he does, his chronic diseases are not healed. Bad energy is accumulated in the body, and the person also cannot work. Hatha yoga is very important, and it is hard to achieve because it is hard. Just sit down and start to bend forward, and you do not want to, and that means your channels are blocked. You must overcome it, you must bend more, you must breathe normally, you must have a yoga instructor. But once you learn this, you will feel healthier. Chronic diseases go. Each exercise is connected to certain muscles and certain diseases. Thus, if a person wants energy in his genitalia, he must bend forward. You sit down and you bend down to your legs, and energy goes to your pelvis. Backward bending gives energy flow to your head. Your head is healed then. These are just examples. This is Hatha yoga. In general, it is a sophisticated gymnastics. I described in short. There are rules. If you bend forward, next you must bend backwards. Otherwise, you're going to unbalance your energies. The next way to work with prana is marma therapy. Marma means a point. According to classic Ayurvedic text, Ashtanga Hridaya Samhita, marmas are not points of your body. These are points where important energetic flows are connected to your body parts, like muscles and joints. So marmas are where your subtle and gross body intersect. And when these marmas are pressed, normally a thumb is used to press. This is the strongest finger. It means me, I. And in total, there are 107 marmas. You can find all these materials on the internet, and there is marma vidya. It is a traditional Indian practice to treat people. By pressing these marmas, the energy supply is regulated in different parts of the body, and so diseases are treated. There is Tamil marma vidya said to be founded by Astyara, and Kerala marma vidya based on Sushruta Samhita, an old text. Bhabhata and other ancient sages of India wrote Sushruta. There are two major schools of Marma Vidya. You can study it and treat by pressing points of the body. I think that acupuncture and reflexotherapy, sujok therapy are also similar. To know how the body is affected, I'm going to give you the structure of these nadis. The first layer is called nadi. It is connected to psyche. The second layer is dhamani. This layer is connected to nerves. And we can see that needles are inserted in places where there are nerve plexus and nerve tissues. In other words, needle irritates nerves and it indirectly affects our subtle body. Needles are entered in the zones where there is psychical energy and where it is connected to our nervous system. In these zones there are energetic nodes, and when a needle is inserted there, the energy flow changes in the body. And doctors of reflexotherapy, they pay much attention not just to inserting needles, but they also associate with the patient. They ask how condition changes, because when prana goes differently, it is easily felt. There is tension or relaxation, cold or hot. Just by questioning a person, you can learn about prana flow. Along with inserting needles, you must speak to the patient, and then you can work out the correct scheme and achieve good treatment effect. We can see that acupuncture is effective in the following cases: nervous system disorders, general weakness and fatigue. It is an auxiliary medicine that heals general condition of a person. Eastern medicine is normally based on general condition of a person, because if it is bad, then particulars are also going to be bad. For example, there are traffic jams in Moscow, and we are interested in one supermarket, but it is impossible to get goods there because dhatus, the roads are blocked, and the channels, shrotas, are also blocked. So what does modern medicine do? It gets a helicopter and delivers goods to the supermarket, but it is better to clear the roads so that there were no traffic jams. Then there would be no need for helicopters like IVs, surgeries. It will work naturally. We underestimate abilities of our body. Of course, ICUs are needed. There is no body cleanses in this case, but mostly medicine must be preventive. It must teach a person to live right, because we treat alcoholics and schizophrenics, and that is the outcome of their life. And it's too late to treat. You must treat healthy people. In normal condition, a person must follow certain rules and healthy lifestyle. And these techniques like Hatha Yoga, Pranayama, Ushu, Tsugun, they are all needed to sustain good health. Therapeutic physical training is a modern way to work with prana body. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is what gives tonus to your body. You must not think that 1, 2, 3 is going to treat your liver. It gives you ability to work well. Unless there are physical exercises, a person cannot work. Exercises meant to regulate weight. What do these exercises do? They give more samana. It is the energy that goes out, and it strengthens skin and muscles. It makes people more beautiful, and it is easier for them to interact with environment. Working with your weight is good, especially if a person is prone to get on extra weight and he is weak, he has colds all the time. There is also running. Running is clear pranayama. A person gets relaxed. You must not run to win. There are two types of people. One type run to win. They run 3 kilometers, and that is like a murder. He runs and he gets a heart attack. When you run, you must move towards your health. You must feel well. I run because I feel well. Like a dog, it runs in the street and it feels good. And so a person must run from time to time. That is also pranayama. You must not run too much to exhaustion. You must do it with pleasure, and you must not check how much you ran. Also, quick walking is a modern way to work on your body. Each person must pick what suits him. For example, one friend of mine gets very tired from work and he cannot do hatha yoga, but he started to run and he became really well. Another friend lifts weights. For me, hatha yoga is great. I do it an hour and a half or 2 hours a day, and I am healthy. I have strength to act. Hatha yoga is not a goal of life, but it gives me strength to live, gives health. To some people, moving to the music is great, aerobics. There is climate therapy. It is treatment with nature. Let us study this topic. If a person is exhausted mentally, he is depressed, he is stressed, and he needs strength and support, he should walk in the woods. There is stress, weakness. Trees have great psychical energy. They are times stronger than people. When the person walks in the woods, he exchanges prana with trees, and it is easier to live. Walking in the woods are more effective than many different procedures to relieve depression. In order to improve your metabolism so that there was no arrhythmia, no vegetative nervous system disorders like dystonia, for bile ducts to work properly, a person needs to swim. Energy of water gives balance to all functions of your body. If a person, for example, cannot rest, he is always stressed, it is great to walk barefooted on earth or even on snow. I will lie down on the grass Such person wants to have contact with earth. He wants to lie down, to have rest. Earth has great strength. It is great to feel Mother Earth. You must love nature and feel its protection. That is harmony with the world. You must not only love TV, you must be in contact with nature to have health. Next, if a person feels that in general he cannot work well, he is weak, he feels broken, tired, tensed, he cannot work much, then mountains can heal well. When a person goes to the mountains, his energy goes higher, prana is stronger, water harmonizes energy in the body, wood releases energy blocks, earth relaxes, it takes away excess energy, and mountains tone you up, they give you strength. The sun destroys pessimism, negative thinking. If a person is in the sun and he thinks badly of someone, he destroys his life. The best sun is the rising sun. When it rises, and the person stands in the sun, there are exercises, Surya Namaskar, bowing down to the sun, being joyful with it. Sun means joy. Ra is sun and das giving. In many languages, joy, radость, means the sun energy. When a person tunes to the sun, he becomes positive, able to see life positively, to overcome difficulties. Otherwise, a person is very sad. We must look at the sun more. Follow the sun. It is the path of good. You should be closer to the sun, then you are going to be positive in your life. This is treatment with nature, or as we call it, climate. In some climate there is more energy of water or sun. Why do we go to the south? To have rest, so that it was easier to live. Some people go to the mountains and others go to the woods, so that there was no one around. They are tired of everyone, they want to lift their stress. Pushkin poetry about autumn. We spoke about the subtle prana body. Are there any questions? I told you about primary methods of treatments, how blood pressure means prana movement disorder. You can take pills, but it does not really help. Earth and water treat high blood pressure. Getting used to the ground. No, this is not what I mean. High blood pressure is healed with water and earth. They take away excess energy. Sun gives you extra energy. Low blood pressure, you need sun and mountains. They tone you up. There are different kinds of earth. For example, muds. muds give you more energy. You cover your skin with mud, and it relieves inflammations. Excess fire energy is taken away. If you have inflammations, you can cover yourself with mud. But if there are no inflammations and you are cold, you have low blood pressure and bad digestion, if you use muds, that is most likely to bring you to the grave. There are different methods for different things. It's not like, oh, I want to go to the muds. There is a chance you will stay there forever. Subtle body of mind. I see there are no questions. According to the Vedas, absence of questions means two things. Either you understood nothing or everything. I see that all of you are very serious, knowledgeable in Eastern medicine. I'm just making bad jokes. Subtle body of mind. In Sanskrit, mind is manas. And psychic energy that flows in our mind and gives us strength is called manamaya. Mana is and maya energy. Our gross body needs prana. Prana cannot exist without energy of mind. Mind energy feeds prana. It is even more subtle than prana. The subtle body of intelligence, or Vijnana Maya Kosha. Vijnana means realized knowledge. That is a cover of our intelligence, made of knowledge. The cover of mind is made of mood, character, and feelings. Mind is connected to our feelings and character. You can feel your energy of mind. I am in a bad mood today. That is more complicated. In fact, nadis, these subtle channels, are pranic. This is energy of prana, and nadis themselves belong to the subtle body of prana, but they move inside the subtle body of mind. Our mind needs them. If nadis do not move, our mind does not work. Prana, or energy, is always needed for something. If I do nothing, why would I need energy? Nadis feed our subtle mind of mind, and shrotas feed our gross body. Nadis also belong to the subtle body of mind. For example, there is Chitta Nadi. Chitta is life force. This is the major psychic channel that feeds our consciousness, our psyche. But there is also an anatomic structure connected to our mind activity. It is the brain. And there is mana, vaha, shrotas. Mana is mind. This shrotas channel connecting mind and brain. Sometimes we say wrong. You have no brain. But when a person cannot think properly, we say there is no brain. A person can have a big brain, like an elephant has a great brain, but cannot really think because his mana is undeveloped. Little energy goes to his mind. A lot of energy is in his body. An elephant is really big, but a tiny dog is usually more mentally developed than an elephant. A dog knows better what to do. Its mind is more developed, although its brain is tinier. So, mind and brain are different things. Einstein had a small brain, but it functioned really great.
Так, движемся дальше.
Let's move on.
Ум — это психический остов человека.
Mind is the psychical pillar of a human being. This topic is very complicated. It is not really scientific from the point of view of the modern science.
Давайте перечислим
Let us introduce certain concepts that have to do with functioning of the subtle body of mind. These concepts are mostly about mind or the pranic body. For example, there are electrical substances that distribute energy in all the body. Energy is modified there. For example, prana enters your body, then it must be modified. It either goes down or up or into your mind or intelligence. And these substations are called chakras. There are 7 main chakras in the body, energy centers. These are transformers. Energy is transformed there in chakras. What does it mean when chakra works bad? Some people say, I'm going to restore this chakra of yours, it is blocked. If a chakra is blocked, your heart chakra is blocked. What do I do? That means you're dead, basically. You're going to be outside your body. If one chakra is blocked, body is dead. So do not trust people who say that they are going to open up your heart chakra. Your chakra is open, although it may transform badly. But usually when people talk about chakra vidya, it has nothing to do with chakras. First you must know what it is, and then you can treat. Now we studied the subtle prana body. You are weak, what should you do? Take aspirin? No, you should go to the nature, you should move and run. That means correct influence on your body. Because people say you're weak, you should take vitamins. I take vitamins and nothing happens. It is questionable whether vitamins are so good. You can check it by people who take a lot of vitamins. In San Francisco, I stayed in the house of one scientist, and he created these vitamins. His whole house was filled with vitamins, and he wrote a lot of scientific articles. He introduced many vitamins, and he was not healthy. He had so many vitamins that he had health problems. I am not against vitamins, but I am for balance. Our medicine is often inclined to pills, and we only see pills, hormones and vitamins. But we must go further. We must think differently. We also have energy, mind and intelligence. If a person drinks every day and he comes to a doctor with his blue nose, and the doctor says, you have hormonal problems. It is not about hormones. The person must quit drinking, and that is intelligence disease. He must change his lifestyle. So, chakras, are we going to name them? Let us skim it. There is a lot of information. And then we're going to speak about mind treatment. When does this lecture finish? We have another hour. Please forgive me, I follow time badly. Chakras distribute energy in our body. They are in the subtle body of prana and mind, because the subtle body of mind is the basis of our whole body. Prana subtle body is not the basis. We live in our mind. It is the pillar. We see this life through our mind, and it controls our health in general. And mind is our psychical existence, it's our life in our thoughts, in society, in our relationships. If a person does not work in his relationships, he can say goodbye to his health. If a person's mind and energy does not work properly, there is no health. Thoughts appear in the area of our heart, not in our head, in our heart. Oh heart, you are so restless. Oh my heart, it is so good to live. You do not want peace in your brain, in your heart. Your thoughts are. Your thoughts come from feelings. First you feel something, then you start to think. There is no abstract thinking. First you need to feel something. Thus our feelings are also connected to our soul. And then our thoughts also go into our head. In our head there is logic. We live in our gross body, but still our activity goes through our gross body. To think, you need a functioning nervous system. But when a person leaves his gross body and he is in his subtle body, he still thinks and acts, but differently. There are different laws. It is quite interesting. There are ears. These are sense organ, but in our language there is also hearing. Is hearing our ears? No, hearing is ability to hear. It was known for a fact that Vanga's eyes did not work. She had no sense organ, but nevertheless, before a person entered her room, she could describe that person. That was documented. She could describe a person without looking at him. That is called seeing. Your seeing can work through eyes, or it can work on its own. Similarly, people can hear on great distance. Some people can eavesdrop what other people are speaking, and it has nothing to do with sound vibrations. They hear functioning of mind. Our mind is subtle and its energy is spread on great distance. If we think of some person, we are immediately connected to him. I can tell you my experience when I served in the army and we had exercises in Belarus. We were in the woods and I constantly thought that I could not write to my mother because mail did not work. I thought about my mother constantly. I was contacted to her in my heart, and mothers are always connected to sons. And you know what happened? She wrote to me later, My dear son, I saw you in a dream. You sat by an iron stove in some rag house. There were beds for two, iron beds. You wore a coat and you put firewood into the stove. Tell me what that meant. And that meant that I had exercises. We lived in rag tents. There were these beds, and I was on a duty, and I took care about the fire. And my mother saw it vividly, and she described everything, although I never spoke to her about that. I didn't even tell her I was in Belarus. This means that people are closely connected. Read about Juna Davitashvili experiments. They describe it. She was given a note, or she listened to someone's voice, and she could find this person. She could say exactly where that person was in what circumstances. Mental energy can function on big distances. We can be connected. And according to the Vedic knowledge, all relatives are connected in their hearts. In our hearts there is connection. A wedding ring is not a simple jewelry. Two hearts are connected together. People become related. Your heart hurts if your close person feels bad. There is contact. The subtle body of mind has its center in the area of the heart. And in our hearts, our subtle bodies are connected. In order to help your relative, you do not have to run to him. There are prayers and meditations that allow to help with your perception. With your feeling in your heart, you can change condition and circumstances of your close person. There is connection, and you can make your relative's life lighter. This is just food for your mind. Of course, now my ideas go beyond the medical academy expertise, but I am describing you the Vedic view of things. So our mind has five senses. Senses are functions. These are tools of mind. Our senses are not mere sense organs. According to the modern science, what is hearing? It is activity of some nervous structure that allowed to hear. But hearing, according to the Vedic knowledge, what happens when we hear? Due to all alterations of sound, mechanical sound is transformed into mental energy, and this is what these organs are for. And that's it. Hearing itself is connected to mind. It is the tool of our mind. And five senses have different importance in our life, because there is also intelligence that is above our mind, and it is responsible for our fate and the way we live. All senses have exact functions. Hearing is meant to connect intelligence to mind. And this proverb that it is better to see once than to hear 100 times is wrong. Because through hearing our intelligence is affected, and by hearing a person changes his view of life. And reading does not work as well, because through the sound, force is transmit it,
Она может
convey it.
передаваться, но не в такой степени,
We
как через
cannot
звук.
get that much force
Когда человек
from a
слушает
book
лекцию в записи,
as
тоже
from the
идет
sound.
воздействие. Но когда
When a
он
person
слушает
listens
лекцию
to
вживую,
a
воздействие в
recorded
десятки раз сильнее.
lecture, it has its effect, but when
образом,
listening to it live,
в древней
the effect
культуре
is 10
звуку
times
уделялось
stronger.
самое большое
In the
значение.
ancient culture, the sound
Считалось,
was
что
of the
контакт
utmost
с возвышенной,
importance.
развитой
It
личностью
was
дает
considered
очень
that
сильное изменение
contact
судьбы
with an
человека.
elevated
И для
person
того,
could
чтобы
really
это
change
изменение произошло,
one's life.
нужно
And for this
правильно
change
слушать.
to take place,
Интересно,
you must
смотрите,
listen correctly. How interestingly similar are words in
есть в нашем
Russian.
языке. Слушать,
To listen,
слушаться,
to obey,
послушник.
to listen to, a disciple.
Чувствуете, да? Это разные слова, которые
These
разные
words
значения имеют.
have different
Ну,
meaning.
слушать нам, ну, я тебя послушал, ну и что?
Well,
Ну, послушал, да.
I listened to you, so
Но
what?
согласно ведам,
But
ты не
according to
послушал.
the Vedas, you did not listen.
Послушать означает
Actually,
слушаться.
listening
Но
means
когда
to
человек
obey.
реально впитывает в
But
уши,
when a
как бы он
person
очень с верой слушает,
really
пытается
absorbs
понять
through
человека,
ears,
это не значит,
he
что он глупый.
listens with
Некоторые люди
faith.
говорят, если ты с верой слушаешь,
Such person
значит,
is
у тебя
not
мозгов
stupid.
нет.
Some people think
Наоборот,
so,
разумные люди
but
с верой
on the
слушают, и
contrary,
если, допустим, они
intelligent
слушают не
people
то, что
listen with
согласуются с его
faith,
представлением,
and if he
ничего
disagrees with
страшного, он просто это
something he
имеет в виду.
hears,
Но
that's
если ты не
okay,
с верой
he
слушаешь,
just
веды
knows it.
говорят, ты вообще ничего не
But
услышишь.
the Vedas
Потому
say
что когда
if you
человек не с
listen
верой
without
слушает, он
faith,
слышит
you're
только
going to
свой ум.
hear nothing at
Он
all.
не может проникнуться идеей,
Such
он не
person
может ее
can
понять.
understand
У него
nothing.
своя
He
идет,
only
идея остается в голове.
has his concept in
Чужая
his
не
head,
заходит.
and nothing
Поэтому,
else
если
enters
человек
his
не
mind.
может смиренно слушать,
So if a
или
person
с верой
cannot
слушать, он не способен
listen
быть ученым
humbly
по-настоящему.
and with
Настоящий
faith,
ученый
he
— это
cannot
тот,
be a
кто
true
способен
scientist.
слушать
A true
другого
scientist
человека
can listen
смиренно
to
и принимать
others
его точку зрения,
humbly
хоть это больно
and
всегда бывает,
accept
потому что
a
есть
different
своя.
point of view, although it hurts because
Ну,
there
то
is
есть слушать,
his
слушание
point of
всегда
view.
связано с идеями,
Listening
сознанием.
is
Это
also
связано
about
всегда
consciousness
с
and
деятельностью
ideas.
разума.
It is
Читать гораздо легче и проще,
functioning
чем
of your
слушать. Когда
intelligence.
человек читает,
Reading
ему
is
очень
much
проще,
easier
чтобы
than
разобраться во всем.
listening.
Но когда ты слушаешь,
But
тебе
when you
приходится
listen,
сталкиваться с идеями
you have
уже
to
психически,
face
потому что
different
слушание влияет
concept
на
with
разум.
your psyche,
Разум,
because listening
на
affects
мировоззрение
your
человека.
intelligence, your view of the
Поэтому
world.
слушать человека,
And
который
listening
имеет
to a person
ненависть к
who
кому-то, злобу,
hates
в древней
someone
культуре считается
or
очень
is
опасным
angry
занятием.
is very
Если ты
dangerous
слушаешь,
according to
допустим,
the
критику
ancient
в чей-то
culture.
адрес, слушаешь
For example,
злобу,
if
ненависть,
you
злобного, ненавистного
listen
человека, ты
criticism,
можешь
you
попасть
listen
под
to an
влияние
angry
двумя
person,
способами.
you
Первый
can be
способ —
affected
ты начнешь
in two
защищать
ways.
и злиться
Firstly,
тоже того, кого
you will
критикуешь. Или
protect
второй способ —
the criticized
ты
person
начнешь
and
тоже
you will
так же
get
критиковать.
angry,
Но
or
остаться в
you're going
равновесии,
to
слушая
criticize
того, кто
just the
со
same.
злобой
But
себя ведет, очень
to
сложно.
remain calm when listening to angry
Человек
words
часто
is
со злобой
extremely
себя, когда
difficult.
ведет, он опирается на факты,
And
как
when
он
a
говорит.
person
Например,
says
мама
angrily
говорит
something,
ребенку:
he
«Зачем он получил
stands on
двойку?»
facts. Like a mother
Она
says to
опирается
her
на
son,
факты. Это факт,
"Why
что он
did you
получил
get an
двойку.
F?" That is
Факт
a fact.
находится в дневнике.
The child
Но
got
если
an
человек со
F.
злобой это
But
говорит,
if a
то он
person says
никому
that
не поможет.
angrily, he is
Ни
going to
ребенку, ни
help no
себе.
one, neither
Потому
the
что
child
злоба
nor
разрушает разум,
herself,
как говорят.
because
Злоба
anger
разрушает
and
разум.
criticism
Критицизм,
destroy
злобное отношение к
intelligence,
чему-то разрушает разум.
and
И поэтому
truth
в
never
споре истина
springs
не
from
рождается.
argument.
В споре рождается
Only
только злоба, ненависть и
anger,
зависть,
hatred,
и
and
разрушение разума.
envy spring
Когда две
from
собаки
argument
гавкают, трудно установить,
and
какая первая
destruction of
начала.
intelligence.
Они оба
When
одинаковые.
two dogs are barking,
Поэтому
it
веды
is hard to
считают,
tell
что
which
истина
one started
рождается в
it.
смиренном обсуждении темы.
The Vedas say
Если ты
that
квалифицирован
truth is
изучать,
born
тогда
in
обсуждай
humble
смиренно.
discussion.
Слушай смиренно,
If you
обсуждай
want to find the truth,
принимай
be
другое
humble,
мнение,
listen,
которое
accept
идет от человека,
different
который
opinion,
спокойно, смиренно тебе его объяснит.
and listen
Эта
to the
культура
person who
отношений
speaks
в
humbly
древнем
to you.
обществе была очень развита.
This
В
culture
нашем
was
обществе, к
well
сожалению,
developed in
иногда мы
the
не можем
ancient
смиренно
culture,
слушать и
and
передавать свои
nowadays
мнения.
it is
Это
hard for us to
разрушает
listen and
возможность
to convey
понимания,
our opinion,
обмена знанием,
and
обмена
there is no
информацией.
exchange of knowledge then.
Например, человек, который
For
говорит, он тоже не
example,
должен
a
говорить со
person
злобой.
who speaks,
Человек,
he
который
must not
слушает, не должен
be
слушать со
angry,
злобой.
and the
Критицизм,
listener must not
злоба,
listen with
неприязнь
anger.
не дают возможности
Criticism,
понять, что
anger,
происходит.
and
Когда
dislike
человек
do not
критикует, со
allow
злобой
us
себя
to
ведет, он не
understand
может
what happens.
нам дать истину.
You must
Поэтому
not
таких людей не надо ни
listen
слушать, ни
or
смотреть, ни
read
читать.
or watch in
Это не
such
помогает.
circumstances. It's no good.
Итак, звук.
The sound or hearing is connected to mind and intelligence. Next comes the sense of touch. Touch is connected to mind and intelligence also. But hearing changes quality of your intelligence. It changes life of a person. The quality of life, character and habits are changed through hearing. Then touching changes the force of intelligence. It either purifies or contaminates intelligence. In ancient culture, it was very important for a person to be clean. Touching is connected to skin. A person must wear clean clothes to see the world clearly and cleanly. For example, you can sprinkle yourself with holy water or put some sacred ground on your head. People touch relics of saints with their forehead to purify themselves. That is work of intelligence. Sense of touch is also sex. And when a person is drawn away by the sense of smell, meaning he is no longer in his family with his wife, he loses concept of family. So he sniffed elsewhere, there is love, he comes home, his eyes are glass, he no longer understands what happens. His intelligence was contaminated with the sense of touch. It went wrong. A good woman will never sleep with someone else's husband. Intelligence was contaminated, and the person loses understanding who his wife is and who his children are. His heart is cold. Family relationships are cut off. Or you rode on a bus with a drunken person, you can get sick. Or you touch someone by accident, for example, in a bath, and it makes you feel bad. You know that you get contaminated there and not purified. Some drunken people, you do not want to be in touch with them. Sense of touch does not merely mean that you're clean physically. It also means consciousness, cleanliness, what you are in touch with. Next is vision. Eyes are the mirror of your mind. Eyesight indicates that there is soul in the body, but it is the mirror of your mind, not your soul. For example, ancient doctors could easily tell if a person was alive or dead. They looked into his eyes. If there is no life, then soul left the body. Soul indicates presence of the subtle mind. For example, fate acts inside your mind. Fate affects your mind, and it is reflected in your eyes. And there are different zones in your eyes. We're going to study that. Firstly, if you look at the inner corner of one's eyes, you see deep subconscious parts of a person's life. When it is firm, it is stone-like, then some heavy fate is affecting a person. Outer corners of the eyes indicate thinking. Right now, how this person is disposed to you. The outer corner of the left eye indicates thoughts, and of the right eye is will. For example, a girl walks down the street in the evening, and
Мы дворовые герои, не боимся никого.
There are some guys walking towards her.
Вот. Они идут как бы навстречу,
They
и надо посмотреть
are
в глаза.
coming, and she must look into their eyes.
Они смотрят правым глазом,
they look with the right eye, it feels like their eyesight comes from the right. She must change her direction immediately, otherwise there are going to be problems. This is practical use, and the central part of the eye indicates health. It is not connection to thinking or deep consciousness. It tells about health. Iris indicates health. Iridology. You can tell by the eyes the state of mind of a person. If a person went mad, what is worse, to lose your mind or intelligence? It is worse to lose your mind, because mind is the basis of the whole body. Intelligence is above. For example, you started to drink, you quit drinking, you came back to your intelligence. But if your mind is gone, then you have no basis. It is terrible if you go crazy, you cannot function, you get into asylum, you cannot live. And losing intelligence, that means you have a bad habit or you leave your family, but this is not final. People usually do not leave asylums. It is much worse to lose your mind. Diseases of mind, they are not so bad, but there is destruction of mind. Mental institutions deal with these things. You see, in Russian language it is all very exact, but we lost this knowledge, we do not study it. So you can tell by the eyes if a person went mad or not. Eyes show how a person's mind works. A person must respond to your eyesight. If you look into a person's eyes, he looks back at you. There are thoughts, there are ideas and feelings. But when you tell something to him, you see that he does not respond to your words. He does not respond to your emotions. He is inside himself. Take any person, tell him something, and there is a response, some reaction back. But if a person does not react to your words, that means that his mind is ill. Eyes reflect mind. In old times in Russia, doctors paid much attention to eyesight, the way a person looks. You can even tell if a woman is pregnant. It is easy to tell by the looks. It's like she is looking inside herself. Before, a wife just looked, and now she looks differently. She looks inside, and that may be a sign. Not necessarily, but you should also check it. There is a possibility in this case. So, the next is sense of taste. Taste is connected to prana. It is interesting that when a person eats tasty food, he gets filled with energy that he requires in life. But usually, people need something different. When a person changes his tastes, he is told, you shouldn't eat this, you should eat that. A person forces himself to eat something gradually. He gets a new habit. Through taste, you can change behavior indirectly. But when a person changes views of life, he naturally wants to eat something different. views of life quickly change eating habits because food gives energy. According to the Vedas, there is food in the mode of goodness that improves character and makes a person happy. Food in the mode of passion increases disbalance, it destroys balance, and there is food in the mode of ignorance that makes a person degrade. And sense of taste dictates what to eat depending on mind inclinations. We shall not go too far into it. This information may be hard for you, but I will give you examples how taste is connected to moods. For example, sweet taste is connected to happiness. When a person lacks happiness, he needs sweets. Students often need sweets because they lack happiness in their life. No happiness. But sweet taste, if you eat it right, it is in the mode of goodness, it gives you good characters. But the modern views that people should eat as little sweets as possible. But sweets give hormones to women, they give women's health. You should eat sweets when the sun is rising. It's morning. The sweetest, the happiest time of day is morning. You should eat sweets in the morning, maybe at noon, but in the evening sweets destroy health. A woman that eats cakes in the evening, her face changes, and body and thinking. Thinking becomes resentful, face becomes big, and body also becomes bigger. Those who strive for a happy, joyful life eat sweets in time, in the morning. And those who want lazy and idle, happy life, they eat sweets in the evening. And those who are too tense in their work eat sweets at noon. Next is astringent taste. What does it do to your psyche, to your mind? It tones up, it makes you active, and people who work a lot need astringent taste. All raw vegetables are astringent. This taste makes you strong. But if you eat astringent food before sleep, you cannot sleep. It stimulates you. For example, you cannot eat persimmon before sleep. But sweet taste has relaxing effect. But there is sweet taste that ascends your energy, like honey, and there is sweet taste that makes your energy go down, like cakes and root beet sugar. You must balance your energy. You can have a little sweet taste in the evening. In the evening, an hour or two before sleep, it is good to drink hot milk. Milk and wheat bread are sweet. Most grains are sweet. Milk makes your energy go down, and honey makes your energy go up. Milk and honey give balance in the evening, and you can sleep well. Avicenna Ibn Sina wrote about milk and honey combination. It makes life better, it releases pressure, it makes you sleep well, and it is good not only to children but also to older people.
Так вы поняли, что вкус связан
So
с
taste is connected
праной,
to
энергией.
prana, to our
Человек
energy.
кушает вкусно, сильным
A
становится.
person
Кушает
eats
невкусно,
tasty
лечится.
and he becomes
Допустим, лечение горькие
strong,
вкусы,
and
горечь человек пьет.
bitter taste something
Перераспределение энергии
untasty,
происходит.
it heals.
Когда человек невкусно ест,
When a person
перераспределяется
eats something
энергия,
untasty, energy
она
is redistributed
усваивается в
in
нужном
the body,
направлении для
and tasty
деятельности
food
организма.
is needed to
Поэтому
act
врачи
in this
имеют право
world. And
заставлять
so
человека кушать
doctors have the
невкусно.
right
Они
to
хотят
force
перераспределить
people
энергию в организме.
to eat
Но они
something
должны знать, что
untasty,
делают. Если
but
они
they must
заставляют
know what
что-то
they
кушать, что-то
do.
невкусное, они
If
должны знать,
they
куда
make
они
a
энергию
person
направляют. Если
eat
они этого не
something
знают, то они
untasty,
могут
they must know where
вообще человека
energy
сделать
goes
вялым,
to,
и у
or
него
they
будет
can make a
снижение
person
сил
weak.
жизни. Следующий вид
The
чувства
next sense
связан уже с грубым телом.
is connected to the
Это
gross
чувство
body. It is
обоняние.
smell.
Нос. Чувство обоняния.
Our nose and smell.
Интересно знать, что когда
It is
корове
interesting
затыкаешь
that
нос, она
when
не ест.
you close
Ей
a
надо
cow's
сначала
nose,
понюхать,
it does
потом
not
есть.
eat. First,
Потому что
it
когда человек
smells
нюхает
and
пищу,
then
он
it
понимает,
eats.
как это действует на
When
его
you
тело
smell
грубое.
food, you
Так
can
же
tell
животные.
how it affects your subtle body.
Но мы сначала
Similarly for
едим, потом
animals.
нюхаем.
But we first eat and then smell.
Что получилось? А
And
животные сначала
animals
нюхают, потом
first
едят.
smell
Вот
and
в
then
этом
eat.
разница, понимаете? Иногда надо учиться делать по-другому.
Sometimes
Смотрите,
you
пища,
must do
отравленная
things
инфекцией,
differently.
всегда пахнет отвратительно.
Infected food
Это
always
первый признак
smells
заражения
disgusting.
инфекцией пищи.
That is the first
Человеку
sign
не
of
хочется это есть,
infection.
потому что плохо пахнет.
A
Но
person
внешне
does not
он
want
говорит,
to
я
eat
люблю
it, but it looks
картошку.
good. I
Но
like
ты посмотри,
potatoes.
картошка это та, которую ты любишь
Just
или нет,
smell
по
it.
запаху.
Is it the one that you
Синильная
like?
кислота на вкус сладкий вкус имеет приятный.
Hydrogen cyanide tastes sweet, but it smells like death.
Кобриный яд
Cobra
вообще
poison
безвкусный.
is tasteless,
А на запах
but
пахнет смертью.
it
Я
smells
кристаллики
like
кобры
death.
яда специально нюхал.
I
У меня
smelled
ужас
crystals
возникал, ужас, чувство
of
ужаса.
cobra poison, and I was terrified by its smell. But there is no taste. You eat and you die in 5 seconds, very calmly. Diarrhea, spasms, and death. That's a joke.
Вот, то есть, а на вкус
But
смерть,
the poison
ужасный
smells
вкус, на
like
запах
death.
ужасный
It's
запах
terrifying.
смерти, ощущение смерти.
You feel
Поэтому человек
death
должен
coming
нюхать
from
то, что
it.
он хочет
So a
покушать.
person
Это
must
признак
smell
культуры.
before eating.
Мне говорят, ты что нюхаешь?
That is cultural.
Бескультурно.
Someone may
признак
tell you
культуры,
that
нюхать
that
что
is
хочешь.
lack of culture, but it's the opposite.
Бескультурно не нюхать.
It's wrong not to smell.
Первым признаком
A
тяжелых
first sign
хронических
of
заболеваний в теле
heavy chronic
организма
diseases
человека
in a
является
body
плохой запах
is
человека.
bad smell
Если
coming
человек
from
идет
it.
плохой запах, значит, его
If a
надо
person
обследовать.
smells
Это самый
bad,
явный
he
первый
should
признак
be
до того, как человек
diagnosed,
чувствует слабость,
observed.
чувствует снижение пищеварения.
A person
и так
feels
далее.
weak,
Это явные
he
признаки
lacks
нарушения
appetite.
работы
These are
организма. Нарушение
signs
стула,
of
слабость.
chronic
Первый
diseases.
признак самый.
The very
Человек
first
снижает
sign
работоспособность,
is
значит, есть
weakness.
болезнь
A person
какая-то.
cannot work.
Второй признак
The
нарушения
second sign
пищеварения.
is digestion
Дальше
problems,
третий
and
явный
the
это нарушение
obvious third
стула.
one is problems with stool.
Но до этого идет
But
еще
before
признак
that,
самый явный.
The
Это
very
запах от
first
тела.
sign is the smell
Если
of the
пахнет
body.
плохо, человек хуже,
If
чем
it is
раньше, значит,
bad,
он болен.
worse than
Надо
before,
обследовать.
then there is some disease.
Также следует знать, что
You should
запах
also know
в том
that
месте, где вы живете,
smell in the
указывает
place
на
that you
совместимость
live
или несовместимость с этим местом.
indicates compatibility with
Допустим,
this
если вы
place.
хотите купить жилье,
For example, if you
то
want
надо
to
жену
buy
посадить в этой квартире,
an
пускай она
apartment,
посидит,
you should
понюхает. Что-то
get
чем
your
там
wife
пахнет.
inside it
Совершенно
and
новой
make her
квартире бывает,
smell
что ей
this
не нравится
apartment.
запах.
Sometimes
Значит,
a
что она вам
woman
мозги вынесет,
dislikes
она не
the
сможет
smell,
жить в этом
and that means
месте. Хоть
she's
это
going to
дворец
blow your
съедет,
mind.
там,
She wouldn't be able to live
квартира
there.
суперсовременная,
Even
но
if
если
that
она
is
не
a
подходит
new
человеку, то
penthouse,
женщина,
a woman
она больше
feels it
всего это
very
чувствует.
acutely.
И она
She is
зависит
very
от места, где
dependent on
живет
the
больше,
place she
чем
lives in,
Поэтому
more than a
надо дать
man.
ей возможность понюхать.
If you
Вы пришли
are
куда-то в гости,
visiting
и вы
someone
там
and you
чувствуете,
do
вам
not
не
like
нравится
the
запах
smell there,
этого места, не
you
надо
should
там
not
кушать.
eat
Вам
there.
предлагают покушать, не кушайте,
If you
вас
do,
может вырвать,
you can
будете
feel
плохо
sick
чувствовать.
because of it.
Значит, энергетика этих
That
людей
means that
несовместима
the
с вами.
host's energy is not compatible
Плохо
with
пахнет,
you. Please raise your hands. For example, you entered some room or apartment and it smells badly. Who is going to eat there? No one, because it smells bad. It is connected to our body. We recognize food by its smell. If it smells well, then your health will improve. For example, you came to the wood and it smells off. Then you must go to another wood. Smell shows compatibility to your health. This is general information about functioning of our mind. We described 5 senses that learn this world, recognize it, but there are also 5 senses connected to action. The first active sense is speech. Speech is active. It is the greatest force that changes our life. People pray aloud. It invokes our intelligence. People pray aloud. It is speech and it has the strongest effect on our fate. Then, acting with hands, we write, we do something, we create things. Computer was made with hands, not feet. Doing something manually is connected to our thinking, and speech is connected to intelligence. When we act with our feet and legs, it's about overcoming difficulties. For example, we are watching a movie. There is a hero who overcomes difficulties, and he walks somewhere. He is depicted like this. He wants to win. He marches, and the one who marches with the song will never be lost. It is connected to overcoming something, our legs and feet. We defeat our fate. I am talking about connection between our senses and our fate. For example, ascetic, people who perform austerities, they increase strength of their psyche and intelligence. What austerities do people perform? They stand still, they stand on their knees. These are often connected to legs. There are 2 more active organs, active senses. There are emunctory organs that release toxins and waste like sweat glands and other, I'm not going to name them. And there is one active organ connected to conception of children. You know what I'm talking about. That is also action. There are 5 doing senses: speech, doing with arms, with legs, releasing wastes, and conception. Thinking is connected to all these active senses. We have too little time to discuss it. Now I'm going to speak about more important things. If you take a look at mind in section, there are 3 energetic layers. The outer layer is called Kalyanabhaga. Kalyanabhaga. That is hard to understand. For example, Patanjali, an ancient sage, he compared our mind to a lake. On the surface there are waves. Waves are our thoughts. A person realizes what is on the surface. It is closer to us. We understand what is on the surface, but there is a whole deep sea underneath. We know waves. These are our thoughts and emotions. Emotions are a bit deeper. There are thoughts and emotions on the surface. They are stronger in women. They are on the left side of the body. Next, there is willpower and desires. Desires are connected to our will. That is stronger in man. Who was who? A man has desire. I want to marry you. There is will, there is desire in man. And thoughts and emotions are stronger in women. Women think and men act willfully. There is this joke about a boxer. He trains and someone asks him, "And do you need your head?" "Of course, I eat with it." He acts. Will and desire prevail in man. Kalyana-bhaga is the surface of the lake. When you go deeper, there is mood. Beneath the waves, there is mood. We are in a mood. Deeper than mood is spirit or attitude. For example, a person says, "I'm in a good mood, but I have been depressed for a year." The mood is good, he's okay, but he's depressed for a long time. So depression is deeper in the mind, that is, attitude towards life. For example, my father died, but I am in a good mood today, for some reason. But in general, I feel bad. So this is Kalyana-bhaga, the things we are aware of in ourselves. But the next layer, the middle layer, is unconscious. It is called Rasa-bhaga. This middle layer or Rasa-bhaga is connected to health. All our organs and systems are regulated in there. All these channels and everything are there in our mind. And the deepest layer of Rasa-bhaga is connected to a person's fate. Kalyana-bhaga is just the surface, but Rasa-bhaga is divided into two parts. It's the middle part and the deeper middle part. The middle part regulates our health, our body. What do doctors do? They work with this area. It is unconscious. A disease appears when we do not know about it. We can find it later when it comes to the surface, through mood, through pain and symptoms. But when a disease is born, no one knows it, and it must be diagnosed. A doctor can tell what health is. Now we have tools to diagnose and to see these things. A person can even not know about a tumor. We do not feel it.
есть признаки,
but there are signs. For example,
ощущения, как
feelings like
снижение возможности жить.
inability to live. For example, a person used to walk and work more, and now he does it less. A person could concentrate more before, and it worsens. In general, that is weakness, and that is the deepest sign of some disease. It is the signal coming from Rasabhaga. There is something wrong with the mind, and as a result, there is a disease, but you must find out what the disease is. But there is a deeper part of the lake of your mind. It is connected to events in your life. All events in our life, according to the ancient Vedic culture, as well as Chinese and Tibetan and Buddhist knowledge, are about us. If your spouse leaves you, that is not accidental. If something happens to us, I'm fired. First, it came out of me, but it was so unconscious that we are completely unaware. In this deepest part of our mind, of our psyche, there is effect on our fate. For example, I cannot get married. I tried it in Moscow. Women who think that it is easy like this to get married, raise your hands. And some women rose their hands. And I asked, is it going to be easy your whole life? Yes, well, no problem. That is wrong. And then I asked to raise hands women who thought that it was impossible to get married at all. There are women who cannot get married at all. It comes from inside. From the inside, one is given strength to get married and the other inability to get married. And it is hard to change. It does not happen in a blink of an eye. And there is also Mohabhaga, the third part of your mind. And it isn't the lake itself, it's the bottom, slit and sand. Let us go again. Kalyana Bhaga are waves, and the top layer of the lake. Rasabhaga is the middle part. It's the middle, and the lower part is health and fate. And there is also Mohabhaga that contains our fate, that is slit in the bottom. The Vedas say that our samskaras, or knowledge of past actions, knots of karma, are stored there. They are called karma vasanas, grains of karma. Different actions are joined together and there are karma vasanas. You'll see you don't believe in it. I'm going to explain. For example, today I got up in the morning and I decided to take a nap during a day. Am I going to take a nap tomorrow? Maybe yes, maybe no. Will I want to take a nap? Probably. But if I take a nap 3 times in a row, for sure the following day I will want to take a nap. Do you see what I'm saying? Actions are connected, joined into one knot. And when the knot is tied, it is hard for a person. Sometimes people approach me and say, it is hard for me to raise early. Or, I cannot quit drinking. I have no strength. That means that the knot is very tight. You must not think that everyone can easily quit drinking with some method. This drinking knot can be either extremely strong or just small. It depends on karma. You must not think that you can heal everyone with some method. For example, a simple cold gravida is connected to such a strong karmic knot that you cannot heal it. So a doctor must not claim that he can treat everyone. You can help some people. It depends on how much strength from inside is in this disease. When speaking about our body, this Mahaphaga zone is in the area of our heart. It surrounds our soul. It is an energetic ball around our soul, and through this ball we look at this world. When it is filled with heavy karma, a person looks at the world with sad eyes. It is night out. I used to be young in my soul, and now I'm an old man. It becomes difficult to live. Fate is hard. The Vedas say that there are different periods in life. Sometimes your fate is good, sometimes bad. It depends on the way we interact with the environment, but we're going to speak about it later. I told you of general things. We now have an idea of what mind is. Now we're going to move on to practices that change our mind. The first one is meditation. What is it? Meditation is work with the top layer of the mind lake. A person tunes to something, to an object that calms the waves down. Mind can interact and it can be tuned. There is energies everywhere. For example, a man meditates on sun and his mind becomes like sun. For example, one's mind is very tense. He meditates on sun and he gets relaxed because fire releases stress and tension. If a person meditates on water, he can forgive someone. Water improves relationships and connection between people. When a person meditates on joy, he becomes joyful. When he meditates on holiness, he becomes holy. Meditation is connection. How is prayer different? Meditation is in our mind and prayer is in our intelligence. That is, prayer is inner action. Outer action is I work, I eat, I walk somewhere. That is external activity. But a person can work on the inside. He can be very busy. He can bring his mind to goodness, or he can bring his intelligence to goodness. Sound regulates our intelligence, and meditation or harmony with something works with our mind. For example, you listen to good music, music therapy, that is meditation. Then we meditate on some color, we look at the nature or some picture. For example, a person goes to the Russian Museum in St. Petersburg. Go there, you will see amazing things. If a person not just walks through the museum, but he sits down on chairs, he looks at Aivazovsky picture, and there is happiness and calmness. Or a person can never see things like a painter does. Shishkin drew so well, you cannot get enough of it. And that is meditation, you calm your mind down. When you look at a painting, you can really perceive the energy of mind of the painter. Shishkin loved nature and harmony, and you receive force. These pictures of nature are very important. You must have icons in your home. They give strength to your mind. natural objects in your home. Stone floor is better than linoleum. There are vibrations, connection to nature. A wooden house is better than a brick one. You get nature, you receive harmony. There is meditation, vibrations. You can relax in a wooden house, you feel well. Do you understand it in general? Meditation calms the surface of your lake. The next method of subtle body treatment is daily routine. It brings your mind in harmony with the environment. I could never understand why this daily routine was needed when I was told, wake up at this time, speak then, do that. I did not know, but when I encountered the Vedic knowledge, I understood it all. It is easily explained. A person must live in harmony with this world. The sun gives activity. For example, a person lies in bed and the sun is rising. What happens? We cannot sleep. We are awake. I want to fall asleep, I want to have more rest, I'm tired. But the sun is coming up and I am just lying idly. I can do nothing. I want to sleep and I can't. I become nervous, something bangs the door, or there are other noises. But it's the sun that does not let you sleep and not someone else. Birds are singing. 300 years ago, people had no watches. They knew the time by roosters. When the sun is approaching horizon, it's 3 or 4 a.m. The roosters sing for the first time. They respond to the sun. That's 3 a.m., the first rooster cry. The second one is about 5 a.m. The space changes and they cry, and they cry for the third time. That means that you overslept. The sun is already up, and goodbye your good daily routine. A man must get up before sunrise, otherwise there is no harmony. If a person is still in bed when the sun is rising, it gives destructive fire to the body, leading to inflammation. Immunity goes down, more inflammations, more emotions, resentment, anger, high blood pressure, everything connected to fire in our body is worsened because the person gets up after sunrise. On the other hand, if a person gets up early, he is very active, he feels well, but it is hard to do it because we are inclined to idleness, to live unawarely, and it is stronger in women because a female body is more relaxed, and that's why it is prettier. For a man, it is easier to get up early. His body is more tense. Night is for women and day is for men. Did I say something wrong? Owls? No, we are all hummingbirds, not larks or owls. Some people are punished by fate and it is harder for them to get up on time. If you study this matter, if a person was born, please listen attentively, 12 a.m. to 12 p.m., it is easy for him to get up in the morning. Those are larks. And people who were born 12 p.m. to 12 a.m., it is hard to get up. It is time to finish. I will name you treatment of mind, and we will continue tomorrow. Eating in the mode of goodness, good daily routine, life in the mode of goodness affect your mind. They not really treat, but they affect your subtle body of mind. Different objects affect it, like gems, crystal therapy, color therapy, music affects your subtle body of mind. Any external influence on your skin or any other organs of senses affect your mind. Colors affect your sight, music affects your hearing, gems affect your touch. It is all connected to mind. It changes your character. Mind is character. Treatment of intelligence, we did not make it because I speak too much. Please forgive me. I hope that we are going to meet tomorrow. What time is it tomorrow? Yes, that's important. We will speak, we will finish these topics tomorrow, and we're going to speak about treatment of gross body, basis of Ayurveda, Panchakarma, fasting, and other methods of body cleansing. We are going to speak about treatment of prana, mind, and intelligence tomorrow in more details. Thank you very much. Head physician of our health center explains what we do and whom we can help. You can get a free consultation during the lecture. Please make an appointment.
Здесь, у Светланы Симоновой, да, вот здесь.